It is the third week of March here in central Indiana. Besides shed hunting, one of the activities that I'm getting ready to do today is to frost seed some additional Durana and Patriot clover on some of my log roads. Hey, it's a beautiful day, the sun is shining, and man, if I was here at daylight I probably could have heard a turkey gobble, but nonetheless I'm going to get some work done today. It's as simple as putting seed out with a, with some sort of a broadcast spreader. Today I'm just going to use a crank spreader with a bag and walk these log roads. And the reason I'm doing this now, if you recall an episode last year, I did mechanically plant this with the ferminator, but it was sort of at the tail end of the summer. And what happens historically on our roads here, as you can kind of see, we get a lot of leaf drop. So there's still a lot of Durana clover that's here. It's trying to come on back out as the temperatures are warming up. But inadvertently, some of this stuff just gets smothered out because it was a fresh new planting and those young seedlings were struggling to get out and stay above the sun, stay above the leaves to get to the sun. And unfortunately, you lose some with just the natural layer of leaf duff that falls during October here. So anyway, I've got maybe a 30 to 40% stand of clover, and I'm going to freshen it up today with some Durana and Patriot and some Pennington's chicory, and just walk these roads and simply crank it out. Let Mother Nature do its job, and here in a few weeks as we round the corner into turkey season, hopefully we'll be having some greens in the log roads, and for sure on into the summer months for our deer. Well, it was 2 weeks ago today that I frost seeded this section of log road, and was kind of explaining the timing of that and the objective to getting it in the ground at that stage of the month, to allow that freezing and thawing effect to work it into the soil. We've had some really cold nights and several substantial rainfalls since then, and I just wanted to get back out, and had some other things to do today on the property, but wanted to get out and sort of take a look and see how the clover seeds were progressing on these roads. And number one, I'm thrilled to see I got germination all over the place on the seed that I put down. So timing was perfect. I got the moisture, I got the freezing and thawing, worked it into the soil, and it's sprigging right now, and it's starting to unfold and send these new seedlings up out of the ground. So that's a great sign. But also the progression of the clover that I seeded last year that was still dormant, a lot of it was still dormant in the soil and hadn't really exposed itself. And you can start to see maybe back there's a really good green haze of new clover that's old clover from the root, but new growth above ground coming up since the soil temperatures are continuing to rise here. And so here in about a month, this thing ought to be a carpet of green Pennington, Durana, and Patriot clover, which I'm really excited about, and just in time for turkey season too. Also checking on the progress of the winter wheat that we cultipacked into this freshly mowed off bean stubble. And just as in with the clover, this moisture level, having some cold nights, one thing to keep in mind is just because you put the seed down, don't expect it to germinate in that 5 to 7, sometimes up to 10 days that you would expect in the later part of the season when the soil temperatures are up where they're supposed to be for active growing response and germination. These soils are slowly warming, and days like today when we got some full sun and it might hit 60 degrees today, it's going to really warm up that top layer, that inch or so of soil. But at night, these temperatures are still getting down into the 30s, which is the reason we came in here and frost seeded this, is to take advantage of that action of the soil. But just be patient, because it's just now 2 weeks since this seed touched the ground, and these winter wheat seedlings are just starting to sprig up some new growth. These probably literally have begun to pop in the last 2 days. So But the nice thing about it is once they get to this point, you get days like this, and a week from now this will be a green field of fuzz, and 2 weeks from now, you know, we'll have 3 to 4 inch tall winter wheat and some actively growing fresh vegetation for not only the turkeys, but hey, for the deer too, recovering from this winter that we're just coming through. So again, this is a really good temporary cover crop that we're utilizing to fill in the gap between the end utilization of the final bean pods and, you know, and seeds that were left on the bean stalks, but before we go back in here at the end of the month of May and replant the beans again. A couple weeks ago, I stuck the Moultrie Panoramic over here on this side of the field because the very first morning scouting, that gobbler was strutting right here on this end of the field. And then I also stuck one of my 990s on the entrance to the field where the logging road kind of dumps into the field. And wouldn't you know it, this morning, that's where the gobbler and those 3 hens walked right out and strutted right in front of it. So Casey and I are pulling cards and, you know, see what's happened over the last couple of weeks, but also to get those photographs of that turkey strutting right there before he came to our side of the field, which will be cool to see.
You need and pass it on down. Oh, give a little back to this sacred ground. Your own sacred ground.
Just had a kind of a funny thing happen just now, or just something I just noticed on the property. But you've heard that saying a long time, you can't fit a square peg into a round hole. I think I have found the square hole that you'll try to fit a round peg into right here in this beech tree. Looks square to me.